channel, Simple Life Philosophy. I don't know if I'm going to post this. I've been kind of toying with this idea for a while now, and I've had a couple test videos. The microphone always seems to just sound a little weird, so I do apologize for that. I really just want to create and start this personal brand of mine that I've just sat on for multiple years now. And I just feel like the way the economy is, the way my life is going, the skill sets, the lack of skill sets that I have, I don't really see much progress ever being made in the corporate world for me, unfortunately. I rolled the dice in a lot of different ways, working for startups and starting my own business. I had a food truck business for a little bit there as well. And I just haven't had success. I've failed at every turn, and I take a lot of accountability for that. There are other circumstances as well. With business partners not being true to their word and kind of betraying you in a lot of different ways, and toxic for sure. But it's all good. I have to take responsibility for not ultimately believing in myself enough and putting myself in those situations and trying to learn. I hate even talking about those specifics because it always brings up a lot of bad memories. I don't think anyone really likes talking about their failures and misfortunes, and I mean some people do, I guess, but and just their lack, and it really kind of effed up my confidence in a lot of different ways. And now I got a job. I got a temp job, making 25 an hour now, which is great. I'm super blessed. And actually, as far as are concerned, it's one of the most low stress jobs I've ever had, which is, man, dude, if I'm going back into the corporate world, I really kind of needed this for a moment. And so we'll see how it goes. The purpose of this channel, I suppose, is just to hold myself accountable, because I feel like I make progress in my life. And then ultimately, after some time, after I see the progress, you stay disciplined for a few weeks and you just let yourself go a little bit. I never really get to a point where, yeah, maybe I'm compounding some days and a couple weeks together, but the compounding always stops at a month. And I just feel like I need to do something to compound months, days, weeks, and months together. And if I can do that and serve some sort of, purpose and, fulfill, I guess, that purpose of helping people, I think everyone kind of has that purpose, right? I mean, if you're talking about the meaning of life, that is the meaning of life is helping others and elevating others. I think ultimately the definition of the meaning of life is to leave this world better than you found it. And unfortunately, I think right now in this world, we are not doing that. We are not fulfilling that meaning. And both, I think, a lot of people on the individual level, but certainly at a societal and cultural level. And I really like, I don't know whose fault it is. I mean, I think it's people. Capitalism is the best answer I have for that. Because I think it just prioritizes profit and greed, and control, and it's also maybe the government that really prioritizes control. I do think that the power structure in this world is power is getting concentrated, more and more concentrated. I mean, you just see that with the wealth disparity, and then you have all these different kind of dark. I think there's just a lot of dark forces out there that kind of manipulate media narratives and even historical narratives. I mean, we don't talk about the pyramids and you know Göbekli Tepe and all these different like ancient sites enough. I mean, we have this story of Mesopotamia and how our civilization emerged from there, but I think it has to be rewritten. I think it's very plausible that we've as humans have reached maybe not definitely not this technological like advancement that we are here today, but you know we have reached some really just sophisticated um, societal, I don't know, I can't even think of the right word, but we have reached a level of advancement that we just haven't really acknowledged, or at least haven't even really given a possibility to. It's like you're looked at as some fringe conspiracy theorist when you talk about topics like this. But when you look at the facts and you look at some of these structures around the world, and the technology available to them, it just doesn't make any sense. I mean, you just go back to the pyramids and how big these limestone blocks are, and the fact that they were cut with so much precision, and the alignment with the stars, and all the different kind of caverns and open spaces within the pyramids. And then um, this guy, hey, people speeding, and you have all these different caverns within them, and then apparently there's like a labyrinth over in the air. I don't really know too much about it, but there's like a labyrinth, way bigger than the pyramids over in there. That's kind of being hidden. And, I mean, I don't know what to believe sometimes, but at the same time, I don't think that there's an open discussion really allowed. It's people talk with such certainty and facts, and it's like, how can you even do that? Like, there's very few things in this world that I think we can talk with 100% certainty. um, I think math, physics, and stuff like that, chemistry, biology is one of those things that can be proven over and over again. But when it comes to our history, there's a lot that we don't know. And it just feels like we have all this information today in the modern world, and we're not using it. Instead, we're prioritizing profit and greed, and we're not finding balance with this planet. We're not finding balance within ourselves. Everything is about cheap dopamine hits. Everything is about short-term profit, next quarter's profit. Nothing's about curing the disease. It's about treating the disease. It's like that famous Goldman Sachs earnings call where I forget the biotech company they were advising, but they were recommending to not cure it, and saying basically it's better to treat it and basically have a subscription service for medicine. And that's pretty much where we're at. That's where capitalism takes us. It exploits us in so many different ways. Um, and it doesn't really have the long term benefit of humanity at heart. Really, so many of the organizations and entities today don't have long term humanity's interests at heart, unfortunately. And I think something has to change, or we're gonna go extinct at the end of the day. And I think people are feeling it. People are feeling it. People, it's hard to think of this world 5, 10 years from now. As power gets more and more concentrated, as we learn more about the world and our planet, and things that threaten us, like magnetic pole shifts and things of that nature. We're not preparing for any of that. Asteroids, routinely hit us. We're not preparing for that. I think if maybe the rich are by building their bunkers so they can go hide, but what we really should be doing is building underground cities and underground farms, and figuring out ways to get the energy grid back on if something were to happen catastrophic like a solar flare. We're not building any of our infrastructure out. We're not using any of the information that we're learning to build ourselves and organize ourselves in a better way, and prepare for all the different possible catastrophes that could hit us. And it's very concerning. But obviously, there's a lot of stuff like a lot of these topics. I mean, you really, at an individual level, have no control over. And so I think my channel really wants to touch on a lot of these conspiratorial topics because I like them and I'm interested in them and they're fun. But at the same time, I think at the individual level, I think a lot of people just need to work on themselves. I think people get caught in a trap of trying to fix the world, instead of trying to fix themselves. And I got caught in that trap as well. And so I just want to focus on really finding fulfillment in my own life, which is really difficult for me because I honestly don't feel like I have anything going for me. I really don't. Sometimes I have to like trick myself into thinking that I do. I mean, I'm 41 years old at a $25 an hour job, and no girlfriend. Haven't dated in a long time. Don't even want to date because I just career wise, and then also live with my parents. That's afforded me at least a little bit of a lifestyle that I can enjoy. Even though I'm not really like I haven't been on a trip in probably I'm trying to think. An actual vacation in over in a year and a half. I want to say, yeah, it's probably been about a year and a half since I've actually been on vacation, which actually is not too bad. A lot of people don't go on vacations for many, many years. So, and the only reason I've been able to go on that vacation was because my parents and that living with them. because that saves a lot of income. I don't want to come across as some entitled kid because I work for what I have, and I cook my own food. I don't trust eating out that much anymore. I mean, I have my cheat days. Um, I still drink, and I'm trying to really cut that out. I mean, I'm really just, I have a lot of addictions, and that's another reason for the channel. I want to hold myself accountable to try and beat these addictions and develop some really good discipline to elevate myself and hopefully inspire not only myself but inspire others. I think at the end of the day, when I look at my life, I'm a cautionary tale for sure. I'm a cautionary tale that when I was younger, I just got caught up in the party phase and damaging my brain a lot of different ways. And I'm paying for the consequences now. It's hard for me to find a job. I have to take a temp job, like this 3 month job that I hope turns into full time, but they made it pretty clear that it's not a full time gig. So I'm scared, like, what am I going to do next after this? What's that job going to look like? I want to find something low stress for sure, and then that way I can kind of have some brain energy to really work on myself and not work on myself and maybe work on this channel and all that. But it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough. It's gonna be a journey. I hope you decide to join me on this journey. I'm really I'm excited to see what happens with it. I know that putting myself in the arena, I'm going to take a lot of arrows. Like I said, I'm an introvert, so I think a lot of my life I probably couldn't handle it, but hopefully now I'm ready to actually handle being in the arena and taking the criticism and um, hopefully and hopefully helping others, in some way. Because yeah, you're just like at some point, just like, man, what am I gonna do? Like, what's the rest of my life look like? And yeah, like that's kind of where I'm at, and I hope you decide to join me on this journey, see where I go. And I don't know how often I'm going to post. Today's what, September 5th? It's Friday, September 5th. So this is going to be my first episode, hopefully, and hopefully I have the cojones to actually post it. We shall see. But for now, please like, subscribe, comment, do all the things, right? It helps the channel a lot. From what I hear, it helps the algorithm, right? So that would be really nice, really cool for me. And I really want to pass on some good vibes to you as well. So, all right, that's it for me. Signing out.